Hello and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. Wherever you are in this world, I wish you well. Welcome to another episode of the Sacred Raven podcast. Grab yourself a nice cup of tea and let's get cozy. And let's talk about ravens. After all, it is a part of this podcast name. And it succeeds my most favorite word in the English language, sacred. By definition, which comes straight from Merriam-Webster, sacred is an adjective, and it means to be dedicated or set apart for the service or worship of a deity. It's devoted exclusively to one service or use, such as of a person or purpose. It means to be worthy of religious veneration, such as the word holy, and is entitled to reverence and respect, thus being highly valued and important. The feeling I experience when I see, hear, say, or write the word sacred is personable. It's something that can't be touched by outside sources or influence. And that last definition of being entitled to reverence and respect and being highly valued and important, that's where I attribute the meaning of sacred the most. I value whatever that object, person, situation, experience is so much that it is sacred and it cannot be tampered with. And when it comes to ravens, well, ravens are highly respectable creatures. So much so that many cultures over the centuries have deemed ravens to be an omen and a creature of magic, shape-shifting, and transformation. Ted Andrews articulates the symbolism of a raven quite well in his book, Animal Speak. The raven is a bird that has a tremendous amount of lore and mythology surrounding it. And some of that lore and mythology is contradictory. But the raven is a bird of birth and death, and mysticism and magic, and it relates to the winter solstice. In the Near East, and according to the Bible, the raven was considered unclean because it is a scavenger, and it is listed as a forbidden food. The raven is one of the birds that Noah sent out after the flood, though it never did return back to the ark. In Scandinavian lore, the Norse god Odin had a pair of ravens who were his messengers. Their names were Hugin and Munin. Hugin means thought, and Munin means memory. Odin was known to shapeshift into a raven himself, and this reflects the idea of the raven being a messenger of the spiritual realm. And during much of the Middle Ages, the croak of a raven was believed to foretell a death or the inevitable outcome of a battle. And if a raven is seen facing a clouded sun, then you can expect hot weather. The raven is a member of the corvids family, which belongs to crows and magpies and other such birds. Many people get confused when trying to tell the difference between a crow and a raven. The main difference is its size. Ravens are much larger than crows. Other differences include their tail shape. Ravens have a wedge shape or diamond-shaped tail, while crows have a fan shape or rounded tail. The beak of a raven is more curved, with hairs that can almost reach the tip. And the voice of a raven's caw is lower in frequency. It sounds more like a deep croak. And in flight, ravens tend to soar or glide more frequently while crows flap their wings more. And crows will usually be seen in large groups while ravens tend to be more solitary or paired. In the Pacific Northwest, the raven is known to bring forth life and order. It's said that the raven stole the sunlight from one who would keep the world in darkness. Nothing could exist without the raven. It's honored in art and totem poles, reflecting the tales and mysticism around it. And with the help of the raven, human and animal spirits intermingle and become one. This is reflected in its deep, rich, shiny black. In blackness, everything mingles until drawn forth and out into the light. Because of this, Raven can help you shapeshift your life or your being, and it has the knowledge of how to become other animals and speak their languages. In fact, ravens are fantastic at vocalization. They can be taught to speak, and they will mimic and incorporate the calls of other species. There's a Scottish woman named Amy on YouTube and TikTok who works with a raven. Her YouTube account is called Wings and Wildlands. She films their interactions and conversations. And yes, the raven will hold a conversation with her. I highly suggest you check her out. Ravens are quite playful, intelligent, and are excellent tool users. They will use stones and anything else that's available to help them crack nuts and such. Ravens are not easily intimidated by others and are quite fast, which means they are also not easy prey for other birds or animals. And this indicates the ability to teach you how to stir the magic of life without fear. And if Raven has come into your life, expect magic to be around. They have a creative life force that can be used to work the magic of spiritual laws upon the physical plane. It can be used to go into the void and stir the energies to manifest that which you need most. Raven activates the energy of magic, linking it to your will and intention. Raven also speaks of the opportunity to become your own magician or enchantress. Every one of us has an inner magician, and Raven can show us how to bring that part of ourselves out of the dark and into the light. They speak of messages from the spiritual realm that can shapeshift your life. They teach you how to take that which is unformed and give it the form you so desire. In the beginning of this episode, I mentioned that ravens are associated with the winter solstice. Being that the winter solstice is the shortest day of the year, this means it is also the darkest. From that day forth, the light shines a little more each day. This is symbolic of the influence of Raven. It teaches us how to go into the dark and bring forth the light. And with each trip in, we develop the ability to bring more light out. This is creation. I haven't had many interactions with ravens, whether direct or indirect. I know I've heard them cawing here and there when I've been out and about or taking a walk through the woods. I have seen them fly high amongst the trees, but the raven did not become something of importance for me until fairly recently. If anything, I would see and hear crows a lot more. But I distinctly remember a time when a raven flew towards me. It was in the spring of 2020, during the lockdown brought on by COVID. My father was considered an essential worker. He delivered food products to various grocery stores, and I assisted him when things got busy. One morning at around 9 a.m., my father and I were finishing up, putting a few things back into his work truck. The receiving section is located behind and in the back of the store. There is a small parking lot with space for vendors to park their trucks and unload. Beyond the parking lot is a wooded area. So we had just finished up and proceeded to get back into his work truck. He started the engine and was shuffling through some paperwork. I was sitting in the passenger seat and latched the seatbelt. I looked up and saw what was, to me at that moment, the biggest black bird I've ever seen fly towards my side of the windshield. Its wingspan was tremendous. I took a breath in and then held it. The raven got about a foot from the windshield and then flew up above the truck and somewhere behind us. I then looked at the side mirror to see if I could visually follow it, but I could not. And my father didn't notice a thing. And I got the feeling that he wasn't meant to. That moment was for me. Once I realized what it was that I witnessed, I felt like things were going to change. I did not know how they were going to, just that they were. And I remember feeling so excited about it. We finished up the rest of the day, and once I got home, I researched the symbolism of raven until I tired myself out. I felt that experience was important for me. It was made for me. And I have held on to that memory since then. So, why is this podcast called The Sacred Raven? Because to me, the raven is a creature revered for its magic and status within the spiritual realm. Birds themselves are messengers, and ravens carry profound messages of deep transformation. They teach you how to develop your own magic and take your abilities to a higher level. They are not afraid of the dark. In fact, they embody it. But they know how to balance that with the light by bringing it out. They represent two sides of a coin. And to me, that coin is sacred. Its worth is priceless. So, thank you for joining me in this episode. If this has resonated with you, please take a second to follow or subscribe, leave a review or comment, or share this with someone who may be venturing down a spiritual path and has a hunger to learn and grow. I will see you next time. Stay cozy and take care.